about week 4, I learned for the first time our defensive scout kids would meet on Monday nights at one of the houses and order food in, and they watched film on their own of the other team's defense to make sure they were actually playing it right. So we'd lay it out on Monday and go get them all coordinated up, and then on their own, the older scouts and kids would watch film to make sure they were doing it exactly right. So they ran a pressure like, oh, he actually creeps like this, and they knew more than I did.
We are back with our series here at the AFCA convention here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we got the champs. I have zero introduction. I have no idea what to talk about, but I think we'll figure it out. We got the University of Wisconsin River Falls staff, the champions of the whole thing in Division III. How we doing today, fellas?
Doing great. Amazing.
Amazing. Well, first of all, let me just say this. The support of me, our show, Division I Rejects, Left Hash Call, all of it throughout the entire course of the season, postseason, everything. We could not have done any of this without you guys. And so I just have to say straight up, first of all, thank you guys so much for everything.
You're welcome. No problem. What a crazy way it went all the way around. This summer with Kobe, then week 1 with you guys, then ended in Canton with the national title.
It's
storybook.
It's crazy because, like, you know, I've talked about this before, but you know, I was so frustrated when I got out of coaching because I was like, man, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? But to figure out to do all this and then have the season that has been had here this season, it's unbelievable. And I'm so thankful for all 3 of you guys that we all have unique relationships together. And I'm just so proud of what you guys accomplished this year. And I guess we'll just get right into that. Does it feel real yet? At this point, does it feel real at all?
I don't think so. I mean, I think this has kind of been a surreal feeling coming down here and people coming up and congratulating you and not knowing who they are.
Right.
That's been cool, but I don't think it's really set in. Maybe once we get the rings in.
It still feels like we have another game or something to play. I keep
Right.
saying that. It's like, oh, we got to, because the playoff run lasted so long. You're playing into January. You're not used to that. It's like, all right, we got to get the film up, start game planning, and on to the next. It's really surreal. I don't think it has set in a lot of ways.
You know, with that, there's been this press tour that you guys have essentially gone on. I guess just from all of you guys' perspectives, what has that been like having so many people be like, you know, can you do an interview? Can we get you on freaking New York Times? Can we do the Barstool, Wake Up Barstool thing? Like, what is all of that even been? I mean, how can you even describe that?
I've had nothing but those interviews since we've been done, which is cool. I think I keep saying the overwhelming piece would be the national attention, and I try to figure out why. I think that it's a couple things. I've said it. I think everyone's tired of the NIL and transfer portal dominating every conversation about college football, and this is one that had nothing to do with it. And it's a good story. You follow our past and what it took to get here, and so I think that the national attention and interview stuff's been pretty overwhelming, but cool. Like, get to talk about our place and our team and our town. It's been awesome.
One of the things that I've told Jen over here. Jen's over here. We don't have her on frame, but one of the lovely wife of Coach Walker here. The end of the game on the you're doing your press or you're doing your post game interview, and obviously you get pretty emotional there. I actually didn't see that until Tuesday night, and so I was getting all emotional, obviously during the game, after the game. And then I didn't see it for 2 days, and then I see it again, or I see that for the first time, and I'm just bawling my eyes out again. And so, and then you look at how many people saw that, and there's 300,000 people that saw that. It is like, how many texts did you? I guess first of all, did you get? I think I might have triple texted you at one point trying to get you. I'm like, hey, look at me! I need to talk to you guys. But I mean, from all of you guys, I mean, how many messages do we still got to work through there?
Quite a few. I mean, there was a bombardment of like, and there's people that everybody went through it, but it's like, hey, there's 140 unread text messages. That's probably normal for walk, but for me, it's not. And I'm like, holy cow, what's going on? It was awesome.
I know you almost feel bad not getting to spend enough time responding and because there's so many people that have contributed in some way over the years that have reached out. And I think it goes to say like the culture of the program and what it's meant to so many different people. And everyone wants to reach out. And, I mean, even the crowd at the game.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
I was blown away. You never really know in a neutral site what the crowd's going to look like. It was incredible.
Well, obviously we were doing the show, and then it felt like obviously we get set up before anybody's even there. And then my back is turned to the field basically the entire time. And then all of a sudden, I turn around, and there's that whole entire section is filled. And then you go to the other side, and like no disrespect whatsoever, like the phenomenal people over there, but like it's not necessarily full. Like I wouldn't say they had as many people there as us. That's for dang sure. And it felt like a River Falls home game a little bit. At least that's how I felt being on. I mean, I was supposed to be the part of the media, and so definitely was. There's definitely times where I would do. So for D3football.com, I did I was the sideline reporter. And, I'm fine cussing on this show, but I would go from like, let's fucking go to all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, pad down here at the sideline. It's a good, everybody's having fun. It's good.
Everybody's under complete control.
Yeah. And so that part was, I guess, hard for me a little bit to be unbiased because there's a few times I said we, and he's like, hey, don't say we. And I was like, yeah, man, we're dialed in, right? Like, I think. After the fourth, and I want to talk about the game a little bit here in a second, but after the out of bounds throw by North Central, he went down to me, and I was like, "Yeah, Pat, we're freaking rolling right now." And then I go back and listen to it, and because basically what I would do is I would go from like I would have the phone in one hand, and then I would talk on the other side, and then as soon as my piece was done, he would just end the call. And then I went back and listened to it, and he's like, and that, just so everybody knows, we've said it 5 times now, he did go to River Falls, in case you are wondering.
You are a homer. Got it.
I am a homer, and I will continue to be. But I want to talk about the game a little bit and talk about that experience going to Canton. I know you guys left on Thursday. I think you guys practiced early, right, on the Thursday, and then left. I guess from Thursday afternoon to right up until kickoff, what was that, like for you guys, being able to do that with the team?
Not much different than the bus trip down to Bellhaven, right? Right. We left on a Thursday night for that game too.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have guys who have never flown before. I mean, it was totally first class, just everything. From the reception we got at the hotel to getting to go to the Hall of Fame and have a banquet there. I mean, what's more football than that? I mean, it was phenomenal and just such a cool experience either way for all our guys.
Did you guys know it all during, before the banquet that Caleb was going to get? Did you guys have any? Did you guys know it all?
I didn't know.
Because
not for sure. I had a hunch something might happen, just because I knew they hadn't announced it yet.
Right.
I overheard a conversation of someone, I can't remember what call I was on, but saying that if the winner came from one of the teams, maybe they could do something cool down there.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a semifinalist, so I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna do something. But no, I didn't know for sure.
Yeah, because I was actually getting dinner with my family, and I was just curious because I texted Pat Coleman from D3Football.com, and I was like, hey, there's this banquet going on. What is there anything about to happen? And he's like, well, let's just say we're on our way there right now, and there's an award potentially going out. And I was like, all right, sounds good, appreciate it. So, and he's like, but nobody knows yet. And so I because I had a graphic ready to go because I love posting those graphics by myself, like on my own stuff, because I was just like, I know this is gonna get a lot of viewership, and I love my team, of course, but. What was that feeling like once he, obviously we kind of figured like at that point, like that's probably what's going to happen. And not only that, gets 70% of the votes, which we had Coach Gallardi, not John, but Jim on the show. And he said, I don't think that we've had a guy have those numbers, at least not for, I think since like Kamek from North Central, I believe. Sure. So I guess from your guys' seat, like how special was that being able to do it with those, like being it with the entire team and everybody being first class with that whole thing?
I don't think it could have been done any better. I thought he handled it so good too, like what he said to the team, and because you've been around him, and he would say this on here. He hasn't always been the most comfortable in those situations, and so he probably wasn't even that comfortable in that, but he handled it so well, and the words he was thoughtful. It was so well done. It was cool that in the Hall of Fame, man, in the Hall of Fame with all his team, and yeah, I thought it was super well done.
One of the coolest things that came out of the entire week was now that jersey's going to
that's cool.
Yeah.
College Hall of Fame. And I was texting, and I put this out on Twitter at one point, but Trent texted me, I think on like it was either Wednesday or Thursday night, whenever it got announced, and he said, hey, another massive Blaha award coming today. And I was like, there's another, like, what else is there in Division III? Right. And he said, just wait. And then he said, let's just say like Archie Manning has been impressed. And I'm like, what the, like he's, I said, he's going to win the Manning Award. He's going to win it. Like he's going to win it. And then he's like, no, well, it's finalist. But then you start to see those other guys that are in it, and you're like, oh, this is a pretty special deal going on here.
Yeah, incredible. I think the next night, the playoff game, two of the quarterbacks playing against each other were two of the other finalists.
Right, yeah.
Or who was that?
Ole Miss and
Miami.
Yeah, Carson Beck was in there as well.
Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah. But I guess talking about the game a little bit, obviously I spent a good amount of time with all of you guys during those games. Was there a little bit more nerves going into that thing, or was it kind of all business? Because obviously you played at so many of those games like that where it was a history breaking moment, like all this kids, like what was there any more of that, less of that, or how did you guys kind of feel about, I guess, playing in a national championship?
I mean, I think the stage was big, so I think maybe they were a little bit nervous, but I didn't feel that way from the guys. I think it took us a little bit maybe to get settled in and kind of get used to what we were seeing, at least defensively. But, I mean, it was kind of business as usual all the way up to it, guy. I mean, you could see you can always tell our guys by the look in their eyes when they're walking around like caged animals on the field, like an hour and a half before the game. It's like, yep, they're ready to go. We're gonna be just fine. And I didn't feel any of that. And it was really cool, like going back to your crowd thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like I'll never forget going out to specialists, which is like 45 minutes to an hour before game, and our whole sideline was packed to people already. It was. I was like, wow, we got an hour before the game time, and there's people already here. It was unreal. But I don't think our guys were. It took them a little bit maybe to get settled down, but like defensively, I think they were fine.
Yeah. I guess. I have like zero prep for this thing today because I'm just I feel like don't necessarily need it, but maybe probably did a little bit for some questions here would have been good. Yeah. But I guess with Coach Spencer, obviously, and I just happened to find my way down there in the after the press conference, and he seemed to be like all first class with the entire deal, and I guess your guys' impressions of North Central, and obviously it's apparent, like obviously why they're in these positions, but with how they handled themselves, what was kind of the vibe with all those guys?
He was gracious and awesome to me from the. I remember we talked on Monday after the semifinal game, and he's the one that helped me the most with prepping for this thing. He's been here 6 times in a row, and I'm asking him questions about who you take in and travel, and he's asking me who's I'm bringing, and how do you handle practice, and he's like, make sure you get the box car for your equipment. Like he's helping me out with all these planning details, and he couldn't have been nicer after the game. He was so respectful, and like our guys tell us a lot about the other team after the game. Like, man, these guys are a bunch of pricks, and these guys sucked. I hated them, and they were pretty impressed with that group. Like, these guys are first class. Like, our guys said that. So I was impressed with the whole thing. He was nothing but great to me.
Yeah. Yep. I guess the challenge of what they presented going into the thing, what do you guys think? I guess from both of your perspectives, what made them different on film? Was it a talent perspective? Like what was different about these guys than maybe the other teams that you played throughout the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think right away you start watching the film. I mean, it's intimidating. I kept saying, man, I swear there's 12 guys out there every snap for them. Like, how are they doing this? And I think it's that rare combination of talent on the field and with the coaching staff, because they're so experienced and detailed in what they do. I think that was really impressive, and that's why they've had so much success.
I'm thinking about, the legacy of Caleb a little bit. How can you guys even put into words like what that kid's legacy actually is? Because obviously, he's done things that nobody else has done. But from your guys' words, like from your perspective, like how can you even describe it?
Well, I think when you're with him every day, maybe we don't even realize, and we know he's great. But again, like a couple things. One, the Joe Burrow split screen when he broke the record, and I've said it over and over on some of these interviews where like I took 10 seconds to look at that big screen, and here's on the ESPN broadcast him and Joe Burrow's next to each other in a record no one thought would ever be broken. And then it's like, again, we all knew how special he was, but all of a sudden it's the conversation of maybe the greatest single season in the history of all college football. It's crazy to think that. And again, maybe it snuck up on us even, as great as we knew he was. But yeah, he could have just had the best season ever in the history of all college football.
Yeah, and then you start because from my seat, I'm always curious like where he's at in the record books, and he's you're like, oh, he's gonna break the freaking all-time WIAC record, and that's awesome, and then he actually broke the D3 one, holy cow, and then and then you start seeing Joe Burrow's name get thrown around, and it's pretty incredible. Yeah. Coach Matheson, from your seat, he's evolved a lot over the years. I guess from day one at our first game at Elmhurst, in his first game, I remember how he was so jumpy, right? It felt like he was just jumping like crazy during that time. Yeah. And then now, like, just surgical. It felt like the games that I was there for, I was like, man, this dude is so surgical. He's precise. How have you, I guess, maybe not necessarily changed, but how have you evolved that system along with him as he's grown over the years?
Yeah, well, it's an aggressive system. We're not afraid to try new things and break things and add things, install things, take them out. And I think his ability to take that in stride with the tempo we play with, and I keep saying this, it's his processing time. It's all those instincts that you can't teach post-snap, what he's been able to do to cut down that processing time to make the correct decisions. It's unbelievable. And then going back to the stat stuff, like for a play calling standpoint, it's like I don't even think about that stuff because we know how great he is and the numbers are the numbers, but you just want to continue to put him in a position to succeed. And he's been able to do that a lot of different ways. So just the experience he's had, and we feel like we've been really close. I think that's the weirdest thing with some of the attention, too, is we feel like we've been really close in 2022, 2021, 2023, 2024. We're a point here or there away from getting a chance to get in the playoffs. So we've seen it from him all along. He just needed the opportunity and then just to tighten up and have the performances to push us over the top and get there. I mean, in some ways you're not surprised. I mean, he's always been a ridiculous talent. Right. And now everyone else is realizing that. I mean, shoot, he gets to see it every practice in camp. So in some ways it's not surprising.
Right. And Wiss, obviously, early, right, I won't name names, but I got a text, and I'm not going to name names. I'm not. But I got a text that said, geez, Wiss is, giving up some points.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, just wait, without knowing what to wait for. You start 5 new guys back there, right? Yeah. And you're playing a freshman linebacker, right? And you're playing a bunch of new guys. Yep. The job that you guys did, and I've said it a million times publicly, but the job that you guys did to get those DBs ready week after week after week, and then the Oshkosh loss happens, right? And then you just lead the country in takeaways. I mean, how can you, again, can you even put into words how that's been?
I think it's just a really good look at how our guys grow and develop throughout the course of a year. The stuff that we were putting in camp, we ran it for the first couple weeks, and it was working, but it wasn't working. And guys were seeing stuff that they hadn't seen yet, and blowing gaskets. And I told everybody around, last year we blew gaskets too, but it was like a 5-yard hitch. This year we're blowing gaskets, and it's going to be 60-yard touchdowns. So it took a little bit to kind of realize what those guys can do, what they were good at, we knew we had some really talented dudes back there. It was just a matter of figuring out where the pieces went. And also, like, to their credit, like, we started off against 2 playoff teams that were really good.
Yeah.
And they were really good quarterbacks. And it's like, okay, we're getting thrown in the fire pretty quick right away. And so I think that was really kind of a, trying, testing time. And then you had to really get everybody where they needed to be, and then learned another lesson at the Oshkosh game where, I thought overall defensively we played a pretty decent game, except for 2 drives, and they cost us the game. And we were not ready for those situations like we probably should have been. And, I saw those Oshkosh guys last night. I'm like, hey, thanks, guys, for getting us ready to go, because we saw the 2-minute situation, I don't know, probably 5 or 10 more times throughout the season, and we were ready for it, and so, but it was just I can't say enough about, those secondary guys and those young guys that have coached them, and Coach Wood and Michael Brown and Aaron Borgen and those guys. They just kept going to work with those guys, and it was phenomenal. You have to tweak some things schematically where they can do it, but it was really good to see those guys grow.
I've talked about this a little bit with Coach Walker, but I feel like no, I'm not in the building every day, but I feel like the young coaches that you guys have on this group right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you see it everywhere, because you got, it's been fun, like, hearing, even like being on this side of it, and hearing a little bit more honesty at times versus, like, as it maybe like from I guess other, you hear different things, but like, you got the 2 full-timers on both sides of the ball, and then like for me when I was at Simpson, you only had we had like one other student assistant and then a bunch of filmers and managers, but shoot, like, you guys you got a bunch of you have a bunch of volunteers like Coach Range and Coach Emery who have poured in this program forever. Sure. And then, you have like Coach Miles, who does an unbelievable job with Uncommon. Yep. And then you have like Aaron Borgerding and Michael Brown and just like Jake Kruder, who's been doing that for, like, it feels like this crew of young coaches is just unbelievable and maybe the best in the entire country with this thing.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I think the crazy part about it too, for our young guys, at least defensively, it's like they were functioning like normal position guys dang near. Like, I mean, here's Aaron and Michael over there running position groups and running freaking drills, and then their input on game planning. It's like, hey, Aaron, you're taking the punt block team this week, buddy. Like, and he just took it and ran with it. Obviously, we blocked 3 punts against Eau Claire, so there was no turning back once he did that. But it's like, yeah, and so it was really awesome to kind of see those guys grow into their roles too. But I can't say enough about that. I mean, you got to survive with guys like that, and especially at our level, like, hey, you get 2 good ones or 3 good ones or 4 good ones, it's like that says a lot about the culture of the program, because they want to stay and want to be around it. Right. But then, like, okay, how good are these guys? Like, they're really, really, really good dudes and really, really good players, and it's like, okay, they're gonna be really good coaches. It's awesome.
Right. So with Coach Walker being here, we have our technology specialist.
That's right. Yeah, he's an expert.
He is
absolutely.
Yes.
Speaking, yeah.
Wait, speak in the mic, please.
I'm the expert.
But I want to know. I do want to know, though, because we weren't using them with when I was there, but we did use them a little bit at Simpson. But the pulling out some of the speaker talk here, like what I mean, obviously, like, I loved hearing about like the quarterback run club that you started doing with the quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. How much was that technology useful with you guys this year?
Even though I'm the expert, these guys will know more than I will. And I've spoken enough, so I'm going to turn it over. If I need to correct anything, I'll jump in when I need to.
Well, yeah, we were saying it, right? Like, no one wants to see me catch the snap and try and throw it around. Like, it's your player availability. It's about those guys performing, and we were talking about it. In these really critical games, we're not going to win if we don't have our best receivers available, if we don't have our quarterback available. So that's got to become the priority. And we know teams were working on the science behind this and how to optimize that performance. And a lot of it's counterintuitive, because a lot of us grow up on, oh, wait, you need to practice as hard as possible to be able to play into the fourth quarter. It's really not true. That's really not how it works. And so how do we take care of our guys and still get the work we need to get in on a daily basis? And some of it was preparing certain position groups, for example, quarterback, for the volume and workload they have in a game. And when you have accurate reporting and you can track that, it's simply just finding a way to do that. But it only starts if you have someone at the top that actually buys in, because it's very counterintuitive to old school coaching, and I think what a lot of us were born and raised in. It's like, well, no, you do extra reps so that you're more ready for the fourth quarter. No, it's really not how it works. That's not how you're optimizing performance in our sport.
Yeah.
I said it in my talk. I said I still don't even like it. Like, it
Yeah.
feels wrong and uncomfortable. But I think, boy, we listen to the science, and again, it's like the truth of it, and I'm not afraid to say it. Like, it all started with in the summer. We said, are we really doing everything we can to make sure that Caleb? It started with Caleb because he came off the injury. Are we doing everything we can to make sure he plays? And we were like, no, we're not. People are doing this. There's science. There's a way to. So that's really where it started. And instead of I was gonna buy one out of my pocket for him.
Yeah.
And then we decided to not get a film tower instead, and we got 15 of them. And then we're like, oh my god, it's so amazing. We got 5 more and then 3 more, and so yeah, like we're just listening to. If we're really doing everything we can to get our kids to play, which we think is the number one priority to win games, then we're going to listen to the science. And again, it's not always easy. It was really hard, but it's worth it.
You'd rather have the Gallardi Trophy winner than a new tower, right?
Exactly what we said. It's
Well
exactly
said.
what
Well
we said.
said.
It's well done.
Said.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Well, some of those towers look great.
Yeah, they're pretty
Yeah.
nice.
And now we need a new tower.
Well, shoot, I saw a new one today with the Sports Scope, like because we use Sports Scope and at Simpson. And shout out Dixie, she's awesome. However, it's an arbitrary system, and there's so many cables that can get unplugged and screwed up. And so now they do have a new one where it's one cable plugs in great, and it's just you send it up and down. It's great. And there's also other like really high quality towers, but yeah, it's not worth.
They're only $900,000.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. One of the cool things that I remember, because when I was still playing, like Gage Tim was a scout team guy.
Yeah.
And he had long hair, and then the next year he obviously starts playing a little bit more. I don't think he was quite the starter at that point yet, but then Blake Rohr and Austin Rush are on the scout team
guys. Yeah.
And I think the scout team culture at River Falls is incredible. And obviously I'm going to say that. And Coach Janis up in Northern Michigan now, he's probably just puking right now, just listening to all this. He's been great. He's like, I can't stand the Matt Walker Seth Howard trainer. It's good. But the scout team culture, not only that, and I think I don't know if there's any head coach in the country that runs the scout team too. We were kind of chatting about that with somebody today. I think there's like an added, I don't want to say pressure, but like when the head coach is running the scout team, you want to fly around a little bit more versus, like I ran the scout team at Simpson and those guys didn't give a shit what I had to say.
Command
they did not care.
Like hearts and minds weren't captured by.
And I'm like, yeah, no, I mean, the corner who's so pissed about not playing is just like, I'm like, hey, this is, you're playing catch this week. And then I'm like, man, you're playing this. And he just doesn't. He's just like, Coach, I'm just going to work on my stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
That's not how they do it.
I'm like, all right, it's fine. And then, it's like, goodness gracious. But having like all these guys play scout team at some point and then like, Rush lighten it up in scout team. What do you think that has done for this crew over the years?
I think it's a great example. Like you keep going, DJ Fox, Hunter McKinney, Kevin Spahn, all these guys play scout team.
All of them.
Yeah.
How about this? About week 4, I learned for the first time our defensive scout kids would meet on Monday nights at one of the houses and order food in, and they watched film on their own of the other team's defense to make sure they were actually playing it right. So we'd lay it out on Monday and go get them all coordinated up. And then on their own, the older scout team kids would watch film to make sure they were doing it exactly right. So they ran a pressure like, oh, he actually creeps like this. And they knew more than I did on Tuesday. They're incredible.
About
week 4, I learned that. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know if the offensive scout guys like, hey, can we get their film? About the same about the first. I'm like, can we start watching their film? I'm like, yeah, man, you guys can watch it from whenever you want. I'll just share it with you.
Oh my gosh.
So it was incredible to watch some of that stuff.
That is awesome.
It's incredible.
It's awesome.
That's the first time learning of that. And like, again, like, where do you, like, there's and you talk about it at the beginning of the year, every year, like, don't, a lot of guys can concerned with their role and what their role is, and a lot of guys you get obviously you have a bunch of gray shirts, but a lot of those freshmen are playing scout team, and it's like what does it take to like win a national championship? It's stuff like that, right? Like it's not it's like I'm sure you've probably said, you guys all said it over and over again, like there wasn't this aha moment ever, right? Like there was never this, like obviously you keep getting better players and keep doing that, but like on the show, like on at Canton, I was like, I said that you put the same gray shirt on with the same black shorts, and like I always think about that, and like what now, even when I'm like doing stuff with my business, I think about that. Like it's not like this big oh finally we got it, we figured out the secret sauce, we did it. It's like just this boring stuff.
It hit me, Coach Miles, one of the ones he used in the comedy, talked about olive trees. And the olive tree one is, 5 to 12 years it takes before they produce an olive. And it's like, it really does hit home. And then once they have their first year of producing, it's more olives than you can handle. Like you can't even, thousands of olives. And so it's like, it makes me think of that, all that. You're pushing the needle when you're putting on your gray shirt, black short, lifting weights on the scout team. The end goal of playing on Saturday, it's like it's never even so far away, it feels like. And then all of a sudden, here's Gage Tim, Player of the Year, and DJ Fox is stud. And these guys just went to work, and they were truly olive. That's the whole thing now. Be an olive tree. Just go lift, shut your mouth, quit worrying about your role, bust your ass, and eventually it'll happen. And boy, we got some great examples of it. But yeah, how about those scout team guys? They're incredible. But you're right. Here's Austin Rush and Blake Rohr were roasting those
Worked
dudes
their
down
butts
there.
off down there.
And they kept saying it, like, watch out for these. The defensive kids would say it. Boy, it's incredible.
I mean, we had some O-line Indy down there, which was fun. Like McKinney and those guys, they would come down the scout team, and I'm just taking them and doing O-line drills. My old O-line heart was like, no, we're getting in a 3-point stance today, boys. We're smacking people. It was awesome.
Forever. Like you'll never be able to, like in the history that, like, you'll have to raise the hand. Like, did you ever play scout team? Like, and you always get that. You always get that, and I just, it's so fun to see those guys, like, go up throughout this thing. And one of the things you've said it a ton as well, but one of the things that I said, why I, during the game, like I was still like in this fog. Like I didn't truly know like what was going on half the game. And then finally, like the game is over, and I'm like, wait, we actually are national champions. And it still hadn't hit me until like I'm looking up at the scoreboard and I see like you with the trophy and all of you guys like in there, and I just like broke down, and I just like I played on the dang team for 1 year, and like I'm thinking about like Andy Grubner and Klecker and Patry, and that was just that's one dude for 1 year, and like I can't even I can't even begin to think about what that's been like for you guys, like seeing all these, like thinking about all those guys throughout the years and all the work that they put in. Like I can't even imagine the emotions with that for you guys.
Yeah, I think you said it. I think some of my favorite messages were those showing Jana some of these, like just coming in for foreign players, like what it meant to them and how it felt like we won a title for them. And that's some of the coolest stuff. I kept tearing up about 1,000 times. And as soon as I thought I was done crying, I just get a text. It's like, oh my God, like we truly impacted kids. And you don't sound like a goober and say it all the time, but that's what we're here for, right? To impact guys positively. And the messages I was getting, I'm just like cried so much the last week and a half.
Yeah, and that part was crazy. Like when you go in the first row behind our bench.
Yeah.
And so like we got done playing and everybody was on the field or whatever. And I like, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I ran over to all those guys. There were like 10 guys in the front row, like Latecki and Benny Bearman and those guys. These guys that were on the 0-10 team just freaking going nuts. And I'm like, well, I'm going over there to see those guys. So I ran over there and saw all those guys. And I'm like, guys that just poured their heart and soul in this thing. It was just incredible that they were like in the front row, man. And they were going nuts and they were like part of the thing. And I was like, yeah, man, those guys, I wish we could have just stormed the field and all those guys. I mean, the cops would have went nuts. They were going nuts as it was.
Well, it's funny. Like I never met Trey Staves until the game, but I felt like I've known him for 10 years.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like
Yeah.
that was literally the first time I'd met Trey Staves. And like, we're dapping each other up and we're like doing this, like the whole, we're doing the palm up like the whole game. And like that, like, meeting Owen Schmidt, like
Yeah.
you guys didn't even coach him either, but like you felt like, I mean, shoot, he just played on the dang team for 1 year and like he's got his profile picture set to the dang Stack Bowl championship graphic.
Yeah.
You're just like, this is like this like we've said it so many times, like this is like dang sixth time I've had you guys all on the show here. So I don't even know how many more things to like even talk about, but I guess like the question I asked all you guys before when I was there for the extravaganza show was, what would it mean to bring a national championship to this school?
Yeah.
Could you even put it into words now, like what it's meant?
Well, we were just talking about it. Of course, the current team, and it means a lot. But we were just talking about it. Those guys, because when I say the part off the field that no one sees, I think there's such a tight knit bond between our alums, whether they're 2011 guys in my first year, or current guys now. The off the field stuff hasn't hardly changed. The gray shirts and black shorts, the palm up, the muddy, all these things. None of it's changed. The product on the field's changed some. We've implemented new systems, but like the stuff they all can grab onto, like they're doing palm up with you and all that shit, that has not changed. I think it's created a strong bond. And then I would say, Coach Wissing's the first one that comes to my mind. Like, again, first phone call when I got the job, and we've been through stuff that you can't explain what and Kelsey and Jana too, like our families, we've been through it since day one of going. I said, we've been to football hell and back. So like a lot of these wins, of course, the current players and coaches, but I think of him a lot because he's been with me through it. And again, Coach Matheson's been with us for 8 years now?
Yeah, about 8
Like
years now.
we
Been
the three of us and Coach Wood, you throw Coach Wood in with us, like this has kind of been the crew to keep, we made some big decisions over COVID and we put this together. And I think he's interjected some new blood with him and I that we needed maybe. But I think about these guys immediately during all this success.
The other thing too is just, it means more bringing it back to River Falls than it does anywhere else. I mean, I could not believe the community when we got back with that trophy. It was incredible. I memean, the support we get and how much it means to a community like River Falls, it's just better than most other schools and programs. They don't have that sort of connection. So it was really special to do that.
Yeah. I was so FOMO. Like I was like, man, I wish I would have just flown back to Minneapolis just for like an hour to see that. Like,
and that was crazy because like I was like, all these people are driving back. Like, where are all these people? I thought the whole town came to the game. I'm like, where are all these people going?
I felt bad. Like our families
were driving
way back.
Yeah,
we got the charter. We're straight.
Yeah, right.
It's like because I don't know if you saw my Facebook, but we got back. We got everything kind of unpacked.
Yeah,
and I was heading home. And I'm like, we have to go to Johnny's.
Yeah.
It's got to be our first stop. And I had the trophy in my car because I thought the players were going to try to steal it. So I took it with me.
Shout out.
And I texted these two guys. I'm like, where you at? Meet me at Johnny's. Witt's like, I'm at Culver's getting food. Joe's like, I'm in bed.
I was in bed. I hadn't slept yet. So I was like about to
tempted to sleep. But they both, we all met at Johnny's. And of course, Dave's there. It was unbelievable. I'm so glad we went.
There's so many people like waiting in line to take pictures with this trophy. I'm like, anybody know who that guy is? No idea.
And no one knew you were coming. It quickly became a photo op.
After the St. John's game, I just got done talking to you, and some other guy was just getting done talking to you too. So like, I had no clue who he was. Like, I looked at him, and he looked at me. And we just hugged. I still have no clue who it was. Like, and I just said, "Love you," and he said, "Love you too." And we just walked away. Like, I'm curious. Maybe Jana might have a better answer to this, but I'm curious. Like, because when I first reached out to you as a player, like you didn't have like much hair, right?
Oh man.
And then. Like I meet you and you have, these curls, right? And so I'm wondering, like, and we talk about aha moments, was like, is there any factor of, hey, we need to grow some hair to win some games around here?
No, it was COVID, right? COVID, I let it go. I didn't have to be anywhere. have nice hair for any. So I just let it go, and then like the girls and our daughters and Jana, they're like, "This is cool. It's cool." Like, so I started wearing it.
Did you officiate one wedding with a hat on?
Yeah.
Like, you were thinking about it.
I
Okay.
officiated Jana's sister, my sister-in-law's wedding this summer. I did trim it up for that, but it still was flowing pretty good for that. But
I always love that because like you have all these kids on camp, like and like you didn't. I don't think you got your roster picture changed until this year.
There's some great old ones too, man.
That's just awesome. And then one of the things I thought was, and I didn't even realize that like this was going on until we were in Canton, but that alumni meetup at the jerseys thing was in like I got there and like Johnny Frank's dad just like bought me like and my entire family around because like of what it meant to him to have this whole thing covered like we kind of had been. And like Crystal was like buying you a drink, and I'm like, this is like I never would have thought in a million years Crystal Lane would be buying me a drink. Like it's just, and then like then you have the coolest Falcon walk in the history of Falcon football and that too. And it was just crazy to see like the entire town. It felt like the entire fan base was at that place, and like us away from the team, like got to have like one more little holy cow moment before like it was time to go. And that was just like, one of the coolest things of the entire trip.
We lucked out with our timing because I actually had they do the Friday meeting or it's Saturday's play on Sunday, the night before the game meeting with the head coaches and officials and NCAA. And so I was at that. So I actually didn't go with the team to eat. So these guys were with them.
Yep.
And so I didn't eat with them. So I go straight there because Jana's there. And so I wanted to see the buddies real quick and everybody that come to the game. So I went and like you said, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. The players have to. So I called him right away and I'm like, where are you guys with the team? He's like, we're right by the hotel, which was across the street.
Right.
And I said, don't pull in. Come across the street.
Yeah.
And I sent a message real quick on Teamwork. So I'm like, hey, here's what's happening. You're going to walk through, no stopping. It's kind of a bar. It was getting pretty wild at that time.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm like, if you have family there, you can stop for 2 minutes and hug them. But otherwise, just keep walking and high five. Man, it worked. It was so awesome.
My
And
Yeah.
the place was shaking when the players.
It was.
It was incredible.
It was, and it was cool too because it is sweet. Like I walk in there and like all of my graphics are just on this like board,
Yeah.
and I'm just like,
Where are my royalties?
first of all, I'm like, I shouldn't be buying a drink anywhere, damn it. But no, it's so like those guys, like that jerseys place did fantastic job, and then they had us back like the next night. It felt like once we win it, I'm like. It was so weird for like because it felt you guys probably felt this way too, but the game didn't get over until midnight, which was wild because you go through the media timeouts and we're on dang East Coast time zone, and so like you like I don't know if I got back there until like 1 o'clock, and like same deal, and yeah, it's good you probably took the trophy because it probably would have ended up in the Ohio River or something. Yeah,
it's not my those bowl games taught me some lessons, as we all know the backstory.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't about to let that happen to the new trophy.
You said like the size of that trophy kind of surprised you a little bit, like of how heavy it is.
It was
so
heavy.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize and I guess this is just maybe everybody else knew this, but you get like another trophy for like here, right? Like that, like
I had 2 more.
Oh, you got another one?
The AFCA one is huge, and then there's the National Football Foundation gives the national champ coaches a trophy. I got so many trophies.
That's awesome. Well, and all the
tough
and the Johnny softball trophies
has to be.
Which one's the most important one out of all? Probably Johnny softball one is right.
It was that
was a lot of hard work.
Very
a lot of years.
Very important.
You had to deal with me for 2 years, which was just
we had no shot.
Yeah, we were all.
No, when I was playing right field, well, that whole deal was just. I love Coach Wiss for that because he's like, man, Kelsey told me this much later, and she's like, yeah, the first time Jake met you was at softball, and I was like, oh god, like that sounds great. Or saw me move around, and I had never played baseball. I didn't play anything ever, and so like
we noticed.
Yeah.
Yes, and the biggest part about that was what to do with the bat post hit. Because I didn't understand that, like,
It was rough, man.
It's like not only is it like poor performance, like dangerous now because it's got this.
I almost killed Cat. Like, I legitimately almost killed our starting running back. And so Wiss just started telling me to run with the bat to first base. And so I just took it with me. Oh, God.
We did an online apparel Johnny store this year.
No kidding.
Yeah, I did.
Hoodies and sweatshirts.
Oh, my gosh.
Order zips. And
Was it through, like, BSN? Did you do it through
no,
BSN?
we did it through local.
Oh, local?
Stitch.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
But it was solid. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Hats. It's popular. Ordered a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what the people wanted.
Yeah,
You know, meet the
give
fans.
them what they want, man.
Regular season.
I guess,
Yeah, regular season.
you know, you guys,
Co-champs.
you know, you guys have been asked probably, maybe I'll ask a question that hasn't been asked to you guys yet, but you know, you've been asked what's it like winning a national championship? Big deal. What's it like leading the country in takeaways? What's it like, what does Johnny's mean to you guys? And I will be requesting some advertising dollars from this because I'm just kidding.
Well, so when I first moved to town, I didn't know anyone. And the secretary at the athletic department is Dory Holter.
Yep.
And she took me in she took
We
us
were
in like
kids.
sons.
Yeah, absolutely.
We knew no one. She became this mother-like figure for us. It just happened to be the department secretary. And like the first day there, she's like, my son-in-law owns Johnny's. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Well, then I started playing for the Fish, the baseball team,
Right, which has been a fun story. I did not know that you were forced to play by Don Richards.
Yes.
So that's
Well,
very cute.
and again, we know no one, but
Yeah.
I get done playing my first baseman. My family hadn't moved up yet.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, heading to Johnny's. I'm like, wait, I've heard that. I'm like, oh, that's Dory's
Yep.
son-in-law's place. They always go to Johnny's after the game. They're one of the sponsors for the Fish. So right away, we're right to Johnny's. And I married the kids. So here's a good story. We're in Johnny's, and Dory's husband, Frank, who he used to run the fire department in town, and they were having the Christmas party in the back. So here's all the fire department, and here's my kids. And again, we're young kids, so I don't want to young kids. I don't want them to give this away, but it's Christmas time, and Frank comes walking out from the back. He's in full Santa costume with a cocktail. And my kids are stopped in their tracks. They're like, oh my God. And they run up to Frank. And Frank, here he is with a cocktail in his hand. And he looks around and he goes, ho, ho, ho. And it was the best. And I don't know, Johnny's, again, like people not from here, they don't fully understand the culture of
I didn't
the
get
bar
it.
scene. It's not the bar scene.
Right.
It's where you go to. Our family goes there. It's where you have meetings during the day if you're in business around our town. And Johnny's just became kind of our first spot. But again, we love them all. I know every freaking bar owner in town, and we could all do it. You can name the first one you get to at Tarnation Tavern on the corner. You can go all the way down to Juniors at the end, and you can name every single one of them. And Mel's and Lazy River. And again, you shouldn't even get started, but you can name every single one, and you know who owns it, who runs the bar, and it's incredible. There's no place like that.
Yeah, it's definitely thrown us for a loop down here because we've been in the bars in Charlotte. Like, you guys don't take cash? Like, we're sure as heck not in River Falls anymore. Like, what are you doing, man? All the young guys, all we got is cash. I'm like, well, I guess we're using cards. But
yeah, right.
I remember going to Johnny's and like with you guys and like us having like 3 strollers in the front thing.
Yes.
And like we got 3 strollers and there's like a couple kids toddling around in like 2013, 2014, just taking over the whole front of Johnny's. And it's like just little kids everywhere. Well, we're in Wisconsin. Welcome. Here we go. And that place is kind of stuck with us, even though they renovated it, 5-6 years ago around COVID. And it really changed, what it looks like. But man, it's been something.
Well, I love it because like I can tell the story forever. Like that I met my now fiance at like Bros, like one of the bars down on that thing. Like, and it's like, and I was never like, I never went, I'd actually never had a drink until I came to River Falls. Like, and I just
welcome.
This is just another story in itself, but like just to, and you figured out quick, like it's instead of like, I don't know where else people go, but like it's just families are there. And what's the recruiting thing you always say? All the people that you'll see in the
Friday afternoon, you could have the mayor, professor, student in the town drunk having a beer, and it's just normal.
It's so good.
Yeah.
No, it's true, and it's true. But I guess to kind of put a bow on this thing here, and wrap this. I don't want to say season up because we're still obviously going to try to celebrate this thing as long as we can. But I guess when you look back on this team specifically and this 2025 team in 10 years, what do you think you're going to remember the most about this group?
Boy, that's a good question.
I mean, for me, I think it's just the tight knit of the dudes. Like they really, I know. I mean, I see it defensively, but like they were a freaking no mess around business approach together as like a whole group. And like you have all these stories that are coming out, like the scout team defensive guys watching film now, scout team offensive guys watching film. It's like they were a business approach. But I think somebody said it, I don't know who it was, and I'm sure you've heard it, but like people from the outside, it's like, man, those guys freaking love each other. Those guys are playing for each other. And like you look at it and you're like, dang, like freaking Blaha freaking scores a touchdown. There's 5 defensive guys down there be like, heck yeah, man. It's freaking like I don't, that part of it was really, it's hard to put into words, but like when outside people can see it, you're like, yeah, man, like that's just how we operate. But that's what I would think I remember about this group, because just the tight knit group, the way they had a no nonsense approach, and the way they just, I don't know, I don't think they cared who we played ever. They just were like, another game, okay, here we go, and Walk did a good job with the whole like, no offense to anybody, but it's opponent number 4, and our guys like, okay, here we go, and that was it. And it just, and at some point they started to really realize, I think, that they were really good, and they just were like, we're just gonna keep doing what we do. So that's what I think.
Yeah, at a time where every kid's trying to get an agent and a contract and has their own podcast and has their own thing, right? Like they're all selfless. It's weird, totally the opposite. We have all these talented receivers that could be anywhere else, and that's just one example. Really selfless group. The defense, we go 3 and out really fast. They don't even blink. Like it's a selfless group, and that's what it takes. And I think that's something I'll never forget.
I think it's an historical season that no one can ever take away from you. We beat 10 playoff teams in one season. 10 playoff teams.
Is it? I mean, is there any like? I probably weren't even. That's probably not even a measured stat, because like they probably would never even think that's a thing you could.
There's no way anyone's done that in any level.
No.
There's no chance.
Say back in the day, they only had 16 playoff teams in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why, like, part of the national title game, again, complete respect to North Central, right? Like, they're to do that and sustain what they've done is so hard. We can all recognize that. But again, in an unarrogant way, we kept saying, we've played this game 8 times, right? Or not, whatever. Like, you playing Whitewater and Lacrosse and Platteville, those are playoff games. And then, you beat St. John's at your place the way you did. And then like Johns Hopkins, like, we kept saying, dude, we've played this game. And even North Central, again, so good. But we played that game 9 times before that game. Not once. We didn't, you know what I'm saying? So our kids there was no panic ever.
Yeah. It always, and I think Pat Coleman asked you this when we were doing Small School Saturday, and he was like, it's weird how like your team feels so calm. And even me, like, again, not in the building every day, I felt calm even like during the Whitewater game. Like, sure, I'm like losing my mind like most of the time, but like I felt still this like calm presence. And like you said, it's probably your personality a little bit, and both of your guys' personality a little bit, because like you don't necessarily ever like get that way. Like it seems like you guys never get flustered at all. And I think it obviously just comes back to the preparation, and that you've done it before. Like we've just like every year before this, like is this game really, is this team better than Whitewater at any given point? Is this team better at, so, but I just want to say thank you, all you guys, for everything. No matter where any of you guys like in 50 years, well, hopefully, 50. Oh, yes,
Christ.
right. But I'll never I'll never forget you guys, and I will always be close, and I just love you guys so much, and this has been like seriously one of the best years of my life, and could not have done it without all of you guys.
Thank you for everything, man. Love you too.